And the Giants leading here at halftime. I'm Brent Musburger along with Dan Dierdorf. And again, Dan, the Giants playing like champions. What was the key moment in the first half?
Well, this might sound strange, but I really think it was on the coin toss. I think it's when Bill Parcells won the coin toss and then decided to take the wind, kick off. They scored 10 points in that first quarter, and they haven't looked back.
You know, there was one moment when the Redskins might have climbed back in this game. Think back to a week ago. Jerry Rice was loose for a touchdown for San Francisco. He fumbled the ball. Here is Gary Clark dropping, and I think, Dan, he would have had 6 points.
Yeah, he's got more speed than Elvis Patterson, and he would have taken it on in. And, you know, psychologically, Brent, what can you say what that does to Washington? And they were going into the wind. I mean, that would have, I think, ignited them, put them on fire.
Well, let's find out something about the Redskins and their mood going into the locker room. Here's Irv Cross. Irv?
Fire a few seconds ago were kind of stoic and despondent, as you can imagine, but as soon as they walked in that locker room, we heard yelling and screaming and lockers banging, so that fire is being ignited right now. But whether or not they can come back against the Giants still remains to be seen. The Redskins all year long have been a great come-from-behind team. In San Diego this year, for example, they're behind by 18 points, came back and won it. But they haven't been behind against a great team like a Giant defense. Last night, Coach Joe Gibbs told us that the Giants right now are the best team he has ever seen. I said, Coach, wait a minute. The best team you've ever seen, Sir Irv. They're playing super football. They're the best we've ever seen. The way to beat them is to be patient. We've got 30 minutes to do it. Brent.
All right, Irv, and of course already the Denver Broncos are going to the Super Bowl. Back with that story right after these messages from your local stations. Right. Okay, the AFC Championship game, and it was a dandy unfolding in Cleveland today between the Browns and the Denver Broncos. Now, late in that game, the Browns were able to take an edge when Bernie Kosar went to Brian Brennan, who makes the catch and goes around the fallen Bronco, Dennis Smith. It was a 48-yard touchdown. Now, 5:43 to go. Time is down to 1:15 on this drive. It started back at the 2-yard line, and John Elway drove the Broncos 98 yards. It was the rookie from Purdue, Mark Jackson, who caught it, and the Broncos and the Browns went on into overtime, and then Rich Carlos kicked a 33-yard field goal, and that sends the Denver Broncos into Super Bowl 21. 23-20 over the Cleveland Browns. What a great game. Standing by live now is their classy head coach, Dan Reeves. The team has not yet left Cleveland. And Dan, take me back to that 98-yard drive. From your perspective on the sideline, what were the keys to taking it down and tying the score?
Well, I tell you, Brent, we didn't have a lot of time to think about it. We were talking about what we would do if we got good field position. All of a sudden, we get the ball. From where I was, it looked like it was about the 6-inch line. And you're just thinking about trying to get it out of the hole, and we called a play-action pass for John to hit Sammy Wind out in the flat just to give us some breathing room. And then after that, it was just, I think, one play at a time. Real key, I think, was 3rd and 2 when we ran the ball around the 10-yard line to try to make a first down. And then another big play was hitting Steve Sewell down the middle to get us some excellent field position. And then we get trapped on 2nd down. We're facing 3rd and 18, and the big throw to Mark Jackson that got us the first down. And then, of course, the touchdown pass to Mark to send it into overtime.
You know, Dan, there had been some criticism of John Elway. I guess folks expect him to step in and throw the touchdown pass all the time. He's such a great athlete. But I really think a drive like this, a quarterback suddenly blossoms, and now John Elway matured. What's your feeling about him in the waning moments of regulation?
Well, I just feel like he's, if he's not the best quarterback, certainly for our situation, he's the best quarterback for us, Brent. He makes so many plays like that. He's won so many games for us in the last few minutes, none with as much riding on it, of course, as that drive for 98 yards. But he's done that time and time again. He has a tremendous arm, and, of course, he has a great ability to scramble, which puts so much pressure on the defense. And it's just a tremendous feeling for our football team to be able to represent the AFC.
Now, Dan, you're in kind of an interesting position. You've played both of the NFC finalists. You came in here in the Meadowlands, and you were beaten by the Giants by 3 points. You handled the Redskins by 1 point at home. Which one of these two teams would you prefer to play in the Super Bowl?
Well, as long as they just send one of them, Brent. We don't want to have to play both of them, but they're outstanding football teams. We had good games with both of them, and we're just excited about it, and we hope to represent the American Football Conference very well.
Dan, congratulations. That was a great win for the Denver franchise this afternoon. Good luck. We'll see you out in Pasadena.
Thanks very much, Brent. Appreciate it.
Well, Dan, I'll tell you, you can't say enough about a team with their backs against the wall in Cleveland, the whole city coming down against you, and yet they drive down and get that game into overtime.
And we're also talking about a Broncos squad that had a slump towards the end of the regular season. You know, a lot of people were counting them out, saying, well, you know, they've tailed off. I don't know if they can get it together. That was a championship drive, and it has to be great momentum for them going into the Super Bowl.
Hey, Dan, thanks for being with us today.
Brent, my
Always
pleasure.
Great to have you.
As always.
All right, let's go back upstairs now. As the Redskins are coming out, here's Pat Summerall and John Madden. Pat?